Hello, I'm Kyle, the owner of Kakes Koffee. I'm starting a YouTube channel and I'm going to be doing a lot of talks about business and starting your own business and maybe the mindset of business. Started my own coffee shop last year around this time, January. It's hard, I'm telling you, it's hard. Started out, I was working in the union, making $20 an hour as an apprentice, raise every 1,000 hours, medical insurance, dental insurance, vision insurance, the whole package, pension, and I was hit with the dilemma. We had a daughter, me and my girlfriend, we had a daughter, and it was hard for us to, our schedules to work together. I was in the union, she was working a job, she had just went back to working a job after not working for a little bit, and it came time for me to go to school. I had to go to school for the union and do my classes so I can get raises, and the school schedule just didn't work with our lives because I would have to go on an island on Kingston and stay in a dorm room for 2 weeks and wouldn't be able to do anything for my family for 2 weeks. I would basically be on this island for 2 weeks and not be able to see my daughter. My girlfriend wouldn't have any rides to work. She wouldn't have a ride home from work. There would be no one to watch our daughter. There would be no one to go to the store if we need to go to the store, or help with groceries and things like that. So for 2 weeks, that's a long time. So I had to make a adult decision, a male decision, and take one for the team. So I knew that wasn't going to work. So I got tired of my life working around jobs. I wanted my life to work around how I wanted it to work around, and I could be with my family and take care of my family and have more free time and have more money. So I started I started looking at ways to make money on my own without having to be on the hourly or be on the clock. And at first I was going to do car detailing. But the materials were too much. I didn't have the money at the time. I had like $60 probably to my name when I wanted to start doing my own thing. And it was gonna cost maybe $200 for the materials to start detailing cars, and it took a lot of time. It just wasn't for me. It might be for you, but it wasn't for me. So then I found a couple of YouTube channels about window cleaning, and I did window cleaning a little bit as a kid, but not on a professional scale to do it for customers or anything like that. So I started watching these videos about window cleaning, and it looked really easy. It looked very easy, and I was like, hey, I could do this. I could go out and talk to people, and I'm really good at talking to people, and I could sign them up to get their windows cleaned, and I could make good money and still pick my own hours and make my own appointments. So I was really scared my mindset was still, I need a paycheck, I need to clock in, I need to get hours to make money. That's how my mind was programmed at the time, and I was really scared to jump out there and do my own thing. Super scared. Now that I think of it today, it seems crazy, but back then I was really scared. So I bought the equipment. It took me a while to get the equipment, like a week of thinking about, do I want to do it? Like, am I going to be wasting my money? What if I'm not good at it? And I finally went and bought the equipment. I went and invested some money into my future. I went and invested in myself, and after I bought the equipment, I felt really good about myself. I felt like I accomplished something. did it. And then after that, the equipment just pretty much sat in my car for another week. It sat in my car, and I didn't even want to look at it. I was like, man, I'm scared. I don't want to go out there and talk to people, or what if I do a bad job, or what if I make their windows look worse than they already were when I came there. Like, just a bunch of stuff that I didn't. Fear is crazy. Like, fear can get in your head and make you think a lot of things, but it's really just in your head. It's not real. That's what fear does. But yeah, so I finally, one day, I was like, I'm just gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. I was like, I woke up one morning, I was motivated. I was like, I'm gonna do it. So I cleaned my own windows first, and it looked good. Like, I was surprised. I was like, it looked really good. My windows looked really good. So I went out the next day and went to a bunch of stores. Whole bunch of stores. Hey, would you like your windows clean? Hey, we're doing window cleaning, professional window cleaning, great prices. And the first day I went out, I made $200 in a day of my own money. After being scared, after not wanting to do anything, made $200 in a day. It was in like 4 hours, I made $200. And then I went home. I think I worked that day. I think I worked from 8 to 12, and I still remember this day because it felt really good, because I went home and I didn't have to clock out or wait and keep looking at the clock to see when I can go home. I went right home and played with my daughter that day and got to spend some time with my daughter, and I could have been at work and miserable. So I remember that day. It felt really good. And that's how I started my own window cleaning business. And from the window cleaning business, I was out one day, me and my daughter, she would come with me. That was another reason why I was glad I started a window cleaning business, because she could, some days if we didn't have a babysitter, she could come with me to appointments, and she would just sit in her stroller, and I would clean the windows, and she would be sitting there smiling and laughing in her stroller while I'm cleaning windows. It's so fun. I love it. It's no other joy in the world than being able to spend time with your daughter, making your own career, doing your own thing, and your kids can be there and they can share the times with you, and I can tell her a funny story or something while I'm with her. And one day we were going to clean windows at the Azteca Mexican restaurant in Mill Creek. I cleaned their windows till this day, and I passed this empty space that was a coffee shop. So I went to Jiffy Lube, which my business is connected to Jiffy Lube. It's like it's weird. It's half Jiffy Lube, half coffee shop. So I went to Jiffy Lube and talked to the manager there, and the manager was like, yeah, that space is available. Are you thinking of getting it? And I was like, yeah, I want to get it. So he gave me the number to corporate, because I would have to contact them for a lease to pay my lease. So he gave them the number. He gave me corporate's information. So I emailed corporate. I'll never forget this day when I emailed corporate. Crazy day, because in my mind, I had just came from having low self-esteem and being depressed. So in my mind, like, who wants to give me a call? Who wants to give me an opportunity to do something? That's what I felt in my head. But when the Jiffy Lube corporate, when they responded and got back to me, they were like, yeah, send us your cash flow projections, send us your business plan. We don't have a problem with it. And for me receiving that information, it really just turned my brain on to something totally different. It really put some confidence in my head and showed like someone believed in me, which is what I felt I really needed at the time. So I went and made a business plan, and I made a cash flow projections. And it's hard, but you just have to do it if you want to start a business. This is coming from someone who can barely write a resume. I have a really hard time writing resumes. I suck at writing. I used to have people make my resumes for me. It's not me. So for me to be able to myself make a business plan and make a cash flow sheet, it's phenomenal for me. That just shows you can do anything if you put your mind to it. Just have a little confidence and put the work towards it. You just got to put the work towards it, because even if you don't know what you're doing, you got to fail. You can't become good at something overnight. If you're a baby, and you start walking, you're gonna fall a couple of times. You're gonna stumble. I mean, when my daughter first started crawling, she would take 2 steps of crawling and fall face first. You're gonna fall. You're gonna fail. So you just got to get good at it. You can't be scared not to do something because you don't know what it is, and that's the problem I have and still fight with till this day. I get scared if I'm not aware or not used to something, but you just got to do it and you find out like a huge weight lifts off your heart and lifts off your shoulders when you do that. But yeah, so I gave them the cash flow projections and my business plan, and they were like, okay, we like it, we want to give you the space. So I was like, cool, great, when do you guys buy the equipment? Because the whole space was bare. It was empty, just gutted out. Everything was gone. It was a nightmare. The walls were terrible, and the place was trash, like really trash. So I was like, okay, when are you guys gonna remodel it? I was like, when are you guys gonna remodel it and get the equipment in here and stuff? And they were like, oh, you're doing that. And I was like, I don't have the money to do that. Like, you guys are gonna give me the space and I don't have anything in here. So I went to a bunch of banks to get a loan. Every bank you can think of, every small business funding, small business that have amazing testimonials on their page of how maybe someone was, I don't know, I'm gonna use my example, like sleeping in their car, and they gave them a loan and they started a business. Now they're Mark Cuban or something, or really successful. Like, those are the kind of testimonials these business funding pages will, these business funding programs will have on their page. But they didn't want to give me a loan. Great business plan, great cash flow. So I just looked at it as like, okay, maybe this isn't the route I'm supposed to be taking, because I really didn't want to have to pay back a loan anyway. But I knew I had to figure something out, because this is a once in a lifetime opportunity and something I really want to do, and something huge for my family. Like, this is generation changing. This is a huge generation change for my family, a huge change. So I knew I had to do something. So I was just focused on cleaning windows. I was going to clean windows. I made up my mind I was going to clean windows to invest in my store. And I was still cleaning stores for like $20, $30, $40, just cleaning little grocery stores and corner stores and restaurants. And I wasn't really making much money. I was maybe making like 100, 150, 200 a day, somewhere around there. And I was driving like really far out. Like, I would drive an hour out and go to a city and clean windows in that city for the day. So it was a huge waste of time. And I wasn't getting that much money, and I was wasting a lot of gas, a lot of time, a lot of money, and it didn't make any sense. And I was just stressed, like, man, how am I gonna buy all this equipment in this short amount of time? Like, and that shows that there's really someone looking out for you that has your back and has your best interest in mind, because through me just working hard every day, opportunities will pop up. Opportunities. So follow your path and opportunities pop up, because I'm telling you, if it could happen to me, it could happen to anybody. Just follow your path, do what you're supposed to do, and opportunities will come up. I remember I was in Redmond. That's about 30 minutes from where I live, and I went to a bunch of businesses. No one wanted their windows cleaned. I was just having a really bad day, really terrible day. And I went in this nail salon. They probably had 2 windows on this nail salon. Like it was, but their windows really needed to be cleaned. I'm not gonna say their name because their customers will probably be watching this. But I went in this nail salon and I was like, hey, can I clean your windows? I'll do it for $5. $5. That's like not even a whole tip from probably one customer that they get, but I was like $5 to clean your windows, and they were like, no, we're good or whatever. So I was like, okay. And I'll never forget this day because I was about to walk out of this day. Changed my life forever. This day just changed my whole life. It's crazy. These 2 women, I'm not gonna say their name, but thank you so much. If you're watching this, you probably recognize me and you know the nail salon and know what I'm talking about. But one of the women that was getting their nails done, they said, hey, do you do houses? And I was like, yeah, I do houses, even though I probably did like my aunt's house when I was little, and like I cleaned my own windows with like Windex and never professional equipment, and a couple stores, but I've never done like a real big house. And these women had like some really big nice houses in some really nice areas. So I was like, yeah, I do houses. So they they gave me their information to do their house, and I was like, cool. So I get to the first lady's house, and she's like, how much do you charge to do houses? And I didn't know anything about pricing for a house. On a couple of videos I watched, I heard people charging like $400, $500 for a house, anywhere in between there. And I think I said like $40 or $60 to do this 3,000 square foot house with a lot of windows. I think I said like $40 to $60. And she was like, what? That sounds too cheap. Are you sure? That doesn't sound right. I'll give you $250. So when she told me she was going to give me $250 to do her house, and it only took me an hour and a half to clean her windows, $250. Then I did her friend's house that afternoon, and she gave me $250. So I made $500 in 3 hours. 3 hours, I made $500. So that was my gateway. I looked at that, okay, here's my field, here's my lane, this is my gateway. If I go out and knock on doors every night, which I would go knock on doors every night for three to 4 hours a night until it got dark. I would knock on doors and go to multiple neighborhoods anywhere, knock on doors. And whatever appointments I would set that night, I would do that morning. And these are like hundreds of dollars appointments. So I just did that cycle, knocked on doors at night, did the appointments in the morning, and still had free time to spend with my family and run errands and do what I needed to do. And that was my schedule, and that's how me and my friend, I have a friend named Bobby, he helped me do the reconstruction and paint the walls, and me and him, we did all the reconstruction in here, and I bought all the equipment and bought all my own materials and went to the store and bought everything myself, and it felt really good. Didn't have a business loan, and yeah, so I'm gonna be making a couple of more videos. I'm gonna make a video every day talking about mindset and success and bettering yourself, because we're all great people. We could be better. We're born to be better. If you're mad about your job, if you hate going to your job and you're mad every day about going to your job because you were meant to do more, you're better than that. You know yourself you're better than that. That's why you're mad at your job every day. You just have to learn how to tap into that mindset. So subscribe, like this video.